Because the next two guests are a proof that games have never been just entertainment. They are a culture, an industry, and a passion that can change entire generations. From Serbia, directly, and especially for today's event, Mihajlo, and I'm not going to pronounce your family name because I don't want to butcher it. Is it Džaril? Okay, then I didn't butcher it. A big round of applause for Mihajlo.
Yep.
He's the director of the Serbian Game Association and the man who turned the local gaming scene into a regional phenomenon with an international recognition. And next to him, of course, I'm inviting on stage one of the pioneers of gaming in our country, who started as a World Warcraft 3 champion and is... Okay, that was...
Almost a champion.
Almost a champion. Shh, don't tell them. And he, with no coincidence, is also one of the co-founders of Creative Buzz that helped us create all of this 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
3
years ago. And he's the engine of Bulgarian gaming culture for more than 20 years. Martin Kadinov, ladies and gentlemen.
May I have the mic?
You have a mic on your
cheek.
Okay,
all right, yeah. See, stage can do terrible things to you. I'll just sit over here next to you so I'm closer. Hi, everyone, how are you? I'm super happy to have Mihajlo here for a lot of reasons. First, what I do is a very lonesome job, but he does the same in Serbia. So I'm less lonely now. Second is because Serbia is a very, very, very interesting case when it comes to games. And I'll tell you why, but he'll tell you much more in details. And thirdly is because I have no idea what he's going to present to us, because it's not going to be that much about the Games Association. So before I give the mic to Mihajlo, just a few highlights. Is there any one of you who does know the company that is currently called Progress, but is formerly known as Telerik in Bulgaria? Is there anyone who doesn't know the name Telerik? Okay, that's how you don't frame a question because it created a lot of confusion. But key point is that in the Bulgarian entrepreneurial ecosystem, we had one company that stood above all else, who made the first really large exit in Bulgaria for circa $300 million already 7 or 8 years ago. And what happened is that that company not only served as the look-up-to model that created a lot of aspiration, but also the trickle-down effect that it had from the professionals that it created, from the capital that was reinvested, to a very large extent shaped the digital technological entrepreneurial ecosystem in Bulgaria, which we are all beneficiaries of. In Serbia, the equivalent, to a very large extent, the digital champion of Serbia is a company called Nordius. They created a game, Top 11, if I'm not mistaken, which is sort of the go-to football manager for your phone globally. So I think that's a very interesting vantage point because like the looked up to company had a proprietary IP, intellectual property, a game that's owned and created a lot of value, not only monetary value, but also storytelling and aspirational and a role model value. And therefore, the Serbian gaming ecosystem and the Serbian Game Association, of which Mihajlo is a director, is an organization of significance because games are not only cool as a topic to talk about and play, but it's also a great business. You've seen Mike earlier today, you see other people after us, and then you had Snapshot as well. So gaming is a topic here. So there is a lot to be learned from Serbs, even though I know it may be hard for us Bulgarians to admit that Serbs are better than us. Yeah, so Mihajlo, I just wanted to give you this context and take it from here. So the stage is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Martin, for a great and lengthy intro. And I want to thank Mike for, pushing us into the gaming sector and taking some very hard questions at the end. I was thinking really about what I want to say and what is the message I want to convey at this conference. And this is about, growing the ecosystem. So Serbia, let's say, had its share of success. Nordius is maybe the most prominent one. We've had several others, but we call them, let's say, first generation, like with the X-Men, you know, you have the first generation, those crazy people, the entrepreneurs who mostly, you know, came back or, you know, came to Serbia with a great idea, you know, and they, you know, pushed through, I think, very hard times, and, you know, in a point where there is no ecosystem, you're building something, you know, related to gaming, and they made a massive success. Now, let's say some 10 years later, all of those originally Serbian companies have been sold. So similar to the story in Bulgaria, all of those Serbian-founded companies and with original Serbian products, be it games or technology, ended up, you know, being sold and bought by the global big global players and companies. And now we are facing the question, okay, so this ecosystem is now, let's say, big, developed. There's a lot of people making games, a lot of people.
When you say a lot, how many is that in Serbia?
5,000 right now.
5,000.
So this is the number we're estimating. But the fun fact is we got a lot of Russians over the last 2 or 3 years. So now that number is maybe 5,000. But disclaimer, half of those are Russians, Ukrainians, or people from Belarus. But, you know, now they are part of the ecosystem.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Wargaming, like the first really large company that relocated fully to Serbia.
Wargaming fully relocated. So they moved the team which made World of Tanks from Belarus, and the team which made World of Warships from St. Petersburg to Serbia. So now only Wargaming is about 1,000 people in Serbia. But yeah, so now, but for us, it's we've got these old, say, the landscape is we have the old Serbian companies now sold to big global players, and then we have the influx of big Russian companies. And it's all very nice and cool, but for us it's more of a question how we get the next generation of Serbian games. So the games
define a Serbian game. So
the game is made in Serbia by people living in Serbia. So if the Russians end up staying, I mean, they will definitely be considered as eligible for something like that. But still, the goal is that the people. So we are trying to get more people into gaming, and but the end game goal is that those people make new, original, successful games. And this is, let's say, the one of the questions we're now trying to
literally
crack.
the billions-dollar question.
Exactly, but I think like we need to have that very big goal ahead of us, which is what can we do to support the Serbian creators or any creators which
and we can copy, so carry on. Take notes.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, we'll come to that as well. But this is now, let's say, the goal of the association. What can we do in the current landscape and ecosystem to help creators make new, successful games from Serbia? So this is, let's say, this is the end goal that we are now. And we literally put it into the strategy and said by 2030, we want to see more successful games.
You want to play those games.
Yeah, and you know, and this is the question we're now trying to crack. And on one hand, so I'm sharing the thought process and what we are trying to do right now. For years, we've been trying to get more people into gaming. So this was, let's say, how the association was founded. So everybody was ready to agree and sign, we want more people into the gaming industry. And let's say, the more people you have, the higher chance of success, more people, more possibilities. But I'd say, that's a very linear progression, like more people, more chance of success. The question was, how can we make this progression more exponential? So, okay, more people, more games, more chance of success, but what are the tools which, can help them succeed more quickly? And then, it's all about the support structure which you can have in the ecosystem. And again, since we are, let's say, all, I think, in the Southeast Europe, always lagging behind, which is not a bad thing in this case, because I think, when we look to the other successful ecosystems, it's like we have a crystal ball, What did they do to make successful games? What are they doing in other countries which, had some success, And we don't copy, but we, try to look for it.
We should adapt. We're living also in different times. Things change fast in the game industry.
For example, there is no structured state-funded support for gaming that doesn't exist in Serbia. So all of the structures and programs are created by the, let's say, the community and the ecosystem, including SGA. So a lot of our work goes into those projects.
SGA is the Serbian Games Association. Yeah. And just one more remark. Mihajlo said that it's roughly 5,000 people in Serbia. In Bulgaria, there is no organization to produce that number, but if there were, it would have been around 1.2 to 1.5 thousand people.
Yeah. So, that would be comparable to the, let's say, the original Serbian numbers. So let's say we were working with 2,500 people before the influx of all the relocations. So, now and then, we always sat down, like, what are those people doing? What are they good at? What are they bad at? And I think I can see some similarities in Bulgaria. There is a lot of technical expertise. Like, people know how to work in Unity. People know how to work in Unreal. They are great artists. So I would say, technically, we can make whatever we want, or whatever anybody else wants. So,
but what is that thing that we make?
Exactly. What is that thing? So, for years, the things we were bad at, it's like game design. Okay, we can make whatever we want, but how do we know what we should make? Marketing, publishing. If I'm making it and it's good, but nobody knows about it, is it a success? I wouldn't call it so.
And one comment here as well, for those of you who are not that deep into the game industry, so the cases of good quality games that do not find their audience is increasing by day. Just as a reference, TikTok did not exist 10 years ago, and now it consumes a lot of time. So the competition is fierce for brain time and for entertainment opportunities.
And as gaming is getting more, let's say, accessible, the influx of games being made is increasing. Like Steam, which is the leading PC platform, you can, every day there is 200 to 300 games launched every day.
And also the cost of development is dropping quite a lot.
Yeah. So let's say the barrier to entry is getting lower, but the offset is there's a flood of games. So how does your game stand out? Even if you made a great game, even if it's technically polished or looks very nice, the art is amazing, it can still be, drowned into this, sea of games being launched all the time. And it's increasingly becoming kind of a winner-takes-it-all market. So it's really becoming, those questions are where, the devil lies. Those details are where the problem is. So we are now focusing on, explaining to, aspiring game developers, okay, you know how to work in Unity, or you know how to work in whatever engine you want. You're a good programmer, you're a good developer, you have a great artist.
Shoot for the stars.
Okay. Now you need to understand that you need some other skills and some other maybe people to join you so that you can make a successful, and when I say successful, commercially successful product. And the good news is this is something which you can learn. So gaming is not an esoteric art, vastly different from everything else. It's also, something which you can learn, how to be a good entrepreneur, how to design products which people want, how to explore the market.
And create a story around them. Just like as a side note, what Mihajlo and I share as well is experience and passion, I think, to esports. So he has organized multiple competitions in Serbia and across the region and created media products out of them, which is actually where a lot of games are looking at on how to touch with their audience and how to retain it. Yeah. So that's another angle that...
Yeah, so, but what I'm saying is the good thing is these things can be learned. And what we are now trying to do is, make programs which do not teach people how to code or how to draw. They teach them, how you're actually, building a game which people want to play.
So more the entrepreneurial and business side of things.
Yes.
Rather than the production side of things.
Now, where is also, let's say, a big catch? Gaming is, for the creatives. That's why we're at the Creative Buzz. And oftentimes, the creatives, they don't want anybody telling them what to do. They, think they've got it figured out, or they believe that, they know all about the art they're creating, in this case, the game. So sometimes the most difficult part is actually convincing, those aspiring creators that they should learn something more and that they should be open.
I think there is a very easy way to convince them, but it's time-consuming. You just wait for them to fail, and then they come with questions.
Yes.
But it's time-consuming.
This is also what we're trying to teach them. Like, you will fail. Like the statistics are very, very hard. Like 90 to 95% of your first games fail. So be prepared to fail. So this is. But
even the redefined fail. I mean, like I think it's super naive to believe that Vampire Survivors, that's a great game. I'm just gonna make just twice as good and 3 times more profitable. Let's go. 3 months later, you publish. The result is not there. Obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, now this is like, we try to set them up that, the failure is an option and that failure is not the end. So the first game...
How do you do that? You have like courses, you have groups, you have like emotional support groups for future failed entrepreneurs, or what?
Yeah. So what I've been trying to do for the last year is make these kind of working groups serving as a safe space to share, and also support each other, share the experience, share the failure, share the success. So it makes more sense. I hope they will be more open to listening when it's a more relaxed environment. We spend 2 hours talking at a round table, and then we go to a kafana and we continue. So I hope it resonates with those developers and people, this, let's say, more direct approach. But yeah, set them up for failure, but also set them up that your first game cannot be the best game ever. Like you will not make the next Tetris. Dragon Age, next Tetris, whatever, if it's your first game. And probably you never even worked at a gaming company. You finished, or you didn't finish university, you learned all the technical skills somehow, and now your very first job is your very first company.
I think, sorry to interrupt here, I think like one thing that a lot of the people that I spoke with, like a simple question, for whom is your game? I think if you don't have a straightforward, clear answer to who is your audience, who are you serving, you have a problem. You have a major issue.
That's a big question. That's a big question. And a lot of times people are making the games they want to play. And I'm not sure that they are exploring the possibility, are other people also interested in playing your game? So this market exploration, I think it's very, very important. And I think it's very accessible in gaming. Like you can get an idea or a demo or a prototype fairly fast, and you can get feedback, and you need to work upon that feedback, iterate, change.
And with 5,000 people in the industry, and quite a lot of experienced people on these subjects, because wargaming surely knows a thing or two about publishing and about community management and about game design and everything else. And also all other companies. Like, how is this organized? How does it work? Like, how is the transfer of knowledge structured?
Yeah, so I would say multiple ways. Okay, we have these very direct peer-to-peer groups. We run a lot of meetups, where people present the project. Either it's a working progress or it's a finished, so they can share, they can talk. And then all the programs we have created, like the one which will soon be in Bulgaria, playing narratives. This was the very first project aimed to get creatives into the game industry. So you work in 2D, 3D, you work with sound, music, so you're a writer, whatever, you're a creative person, we give you a course, let's call it a course, 8 months, and you learn about game development. So we try to get as many creatives learning all those, let's say, basic stuff about game development, and then, they can try. And we ran this year a survey, because it's been running for 5 years. Where are those people? So all of those people who finished playing narratives, where are they now? And the majority of them are in the gaming industry, either employed in the big companies, or they are trying to make their own game. Yeah, but they're there. So they are there, they're finished, and after 5 or 2 years, they're still there, and they're still passionate about
just show me, we have 10 minutes. I'll just use the opportunity of the context of playing narratives to swiftly... So playing narratives is a program that the Serbian Games Association kicked off 3 years ago. And in partnership with the Goethe Institute and the French Institute. And we have like a French topic coming up in a bit with some local entrepreneurs. And we discussed with Mihajlo, so what is this thing that you have that we can bring up here and like help things get better? And it's playing narratives. And long story short, if you want to build knowledge and skills, additional knowledge and skills in 2D, 3D, writing, music and sound design, and animation, it's here. You can sign up. Some of the best professionals in Bulgaria using the structure and know-how that the guys refined in Serbia is available. That's Ivo over there, who can answer all your questions here or later or online. And it's paid for by the sponsors. So for the participants, which can be as many as 30, they would not need to pay something that would otherwise equate to 1.5K, I think, per person, something like this, if we run the math properly. So yeah, that's coming up from Serbia. That's like a partnership between the non-existing Bulgarian association and SGA over in Serbia.
Yeah, but I think it's very important. Like when we look back at all the things we did, playing narratives always stood out as crucial, giving out very tangible, results which we are proud of. That the creatives are learning those basic skills and getting into the gaming industry. So this is what I think can help the industry grow exponentially. So you have some technical skills, you have some talent. Now if you add a little bit of this support and a little bit of these, let's say, non-technical skills, then your chances of success grow drastically. Like, it's very hard for our minds to understand this exponential curve, but like, a growth from 1% chance to 2% chance of success, it's enormous. It doesn't seem like a lot.
Double.
Yes, but like when it the compounding effect over the years, it's very strong. And I'm hoping that by this 2030 we will actually see some more results and get more of those successful games made in Serbia.
Or made with Serbia, like, I have the pleasure to know Katalin, you know him quite well. He was here the year before. Katalin is what Mihajlo is in Serbia. Katalin does the same in Romania, which is even larger. I think it's like 11,000 people. Better established in a way association because he has been running longer, although the Serbs are doing some great stuff. I think like, if I were a Bulgarian, and I'm a Bulgarian entrepreneur, and if I were to do games, I would not think of Serbia is far away. No, Serbia is here. Mihajlo, you can look him up, you can text him. I promise you he would answer. Sorry. If no, you can come to me and I'll poke him. Because, yeah, there's a lot of synergies and a lot of opportunities. And if Bulgaria is not the fertile ground to, say, help a steady game grow, then why not Serbia? I mean, like, we would always keep on being Bulgarians, but I think we should be a little bit of more team play. Balkans needs more team play.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, when I was coming here, my goal was, and asked Martin, I want to meet the people in Bulgaria who made successful games and projects. And then, you know, I don't see many. And it's the same situation in Serbia. We have now all those big players, big names, but they're like, let's say, call them, you know, dinosaurs, the legacy players. When you look at those small ones, you know, and
gonna make the difference in the future.
Yeah, and the number of the successful projects and games is not that high again. Like, you can count them on your fingers. And with all the revenues growing, the number of people growing, what we want to see is this number of successful games growing, because we even see the increase in the number of games being made or games being published. But the successful games, that's where, you know, the trick is and what we wanna see. And honestly, I think, you know, there is a setup, you know, there is the talent.
You have most of the stuff you have already.
And I think that's the similar situation here. I'm sure you do have a lot of talented people who can make whatever they want. And now the question is, you know, add the skills to, you know, channel this creative
That's something that I'm going to be telling you in the coming months. But before choosing to do playing narratives this year, we wanted to do a startup competition, but we decided that we don't have enough resources. And the way we wanted to position the startup competition is that just to be, let's say, lucrative enough of an opportunity for those golden shackled professionals in established companies, like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. Just the idea that, you know, like, if you're a senior professional in an established company, you get certain comfort, but you are less inclined to follow your crazy idea to make a game. But if there were a startup competition that would have offered, I don't know, like a significant marketing boost at the beginning, plus some funding, you maybe, yeah, let's see what it gets, which over the long term of time, it's a net positive for the community, maybe a short net negative for the company that may bleed a professional or two.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's something we see as a next step. Like, yeah, all of those companies, they are there, they're successful, and it's kind of a golden cage. Like, if I'm already an experienced developer, creator, and now I need to leave this very comfortable zone, very safe space, and, you know, try to do something very crazy and risky, like making a game. You know, it's hard. You know, it's a decision which is sometimes very hard to make. And the next step in every, I think, ecosystem is how you can encourage them, you know, to make that jump. Like, say, yeah, there are some mattresses down there. You know, if you fall, you won't kill yourself.
Just show me 3 minutes, and I'll take, sorry, but I'll take a minute of that because I want to give a context. So I have the pleasure of knowing through video games a person, a Bulgarian, that a lot of people know, and Serbs know as well, especially if you play volleyball or if you follow volleyball, which I know that you Serbs do. His name is Vladimir Nikolov, who's a passionate gamer and father of literally of 1/3 of the national team of volleyball. I read his book, great book, by the way. He's an extremely successful volleyball player and a very good gamer across different games. And sort of a biographic book. And there was a moment that I literally cried of the beauty of the moment because, and I know him as a person quite well, and he said that what he was really passionate about is to create the best environment for creating the next generation of super talented volleyball players. And that was 8 years ago. That moment was 8 years ago. And I read the book just a couple of months ago when it was released. And I asked him, Vlado, this moment that you spoke about 8 years ago, that you were about to start, and then in the book he meets the right people, they start a sports club, which they approach the right way with a long-term investment into players. And I asked him, when is this moment coming? When are you going to see the fruit of your results? And he's like, in 3 months. And now Bulgaria won a 3-0 in the group stage of the World Championship in volleyball. On the 22nd, we are playing the first round of top 16 against Portugal. So why I'm saying this? Because you're passionate about volleyball and you're good Serbs. I know that, like we've played before. And now this magical moment, like you already took the actions to see these next steps. When is the moment when you expect to see the result of your work?
Well, I would say 2030. You know, that's a safe, I think, answer. And I think we need that, you know.
It's a process. It's a process. It's not an overnight.
Yeah, but I would consider it a success if by 2030 we can say we at least double the number of successful games.
And how do you define a successful game?
So the game made more than it cost. Very, very simply. Like we see a lot of times, you know, people, they make a team, 10, 15, you know, people, they get some investment, they get some funding, and then, you know, in the end the game sells, I don't know, 10,000 euros, you know, and they spend...
It's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon, like, you know, they've spent maybe even €1 million to develop the game.
Couple of millions.
And then, you know, the game made like 10,000 euros sales. You know, they sold 100 copies. Like, if you went on a market selling the CDs, you would sell 100 copies. Like, and then on a global market, you sold the same amount. So it's very, you know, like...
It's similar to what has been happening in Bulgaria with quite a few games. And I think that's not... market is harsher, and it's only going to get harsher. It's going to be a marketing-first type of business. So building those entrepreneurial and publishing and marketing and communication and partnership teams would be essential.
Yes. So if that's one takeaway from here, and you are, you know, working in gaming or think about working in gaming, you need to, you know, learn those skills as well. And the good news is you can learn them. So it's very accessible. There are many books, courses, things you can learn and read about. You know, how should you design and market the product? You know, that's maybe more, for sure it's more important than how I'm going to make it. Like, you need to figure out those questions first. Who am I selling the game to? Who am I making the game for? Who is my target audience? How am I going to reach my target audience? You need to know the answers to those questions before you start making the game.
I know you well by now, but you're smiling most of the time when you're talking. And the topic of your presentation today was, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So tell me about this. I think that's like maybe a question or two if they would allow us.
It's your last question, Mr. Kadinov.
Like in life or in this conversation?
On this stage
for now. Okay,
today.
so that's okay.
Yeah. You know, it shouldn't be a grind. You know, I mean, making games. Yeah,
it is a grind.
It is a grind.
Is it more? Is it not more like embrace the grind and try to find a way to have fun with it, or?
Yeah, but you know, the you know, when you played, we come from the competitive gaming side. It's not fun to lose. You know, so no, it's but. You need to, you know, when you're making the game, you need to, you know, set up yourself also for failure, but also for success. You know, try to make, you know, the game out of it. You know, try to have fun making it, but you know, you need to know what the steps are. Like in every competitive game, you know, what are the, you know, the benchmarks. You know, if I by the 5th minute I didn't do this, I'm going to lose. It's time for a next game. So this is like the similar situation. Like, you need to have your milestones. You need to know what you're doing. Gamify your production process. Like, you know, if by the month 5 the play testing is, you know, saying that the game is bad,
and accept it.
Accept it. Drop the game. Drop the idea. Move on. So
you lost the lane war.
Yeah, you lost the lane war. So, but you need to have fun. You need to, you know, have a process. You need to know, but you need to learn how the game of making the games is being played.
Now I will show that I understand game rules. Desi said that it was my last question, so it's not going to be a question that I'm asking, more like an invitation to you to open an invitation to the guests here. For the 2nd of October, you're doing an event in Belgrade, which is?
Yeah, it's called Unreal Day. So we have Epic's office in Serbia, and they're very supportive of, you know, the community. And Unreal Day is this a big event where all the creatives working in Unreal can learn, how the tool is used, how the games are made. So it's a very, very cool event, and I invite you to learn all about it and hopefully come to Belgrade.
And meet this ecosystem. And that's it. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause. Thank you very much, gentlemen.